I hate intros, Haikyuu Season 3. We kick things off the morning of the finals where Hinata's friends from his middle school volleyball team, Izumi and Koji, show up to watch. But it's not just them. Daichi's waifu, Tsukishima's brother, the players from the neighborhood team, and a handful of students show up, making Karasuno's first cheering squad.
Karasuno!
Now let's meet the Shiratorizawa squad as they make their entrance. We have the obvious ace and biggest threat, Wakatoshi Ushishima, 8th semi, Reon Ohira, Satori Tendo, Tsutoko Shiki, Kenjiro Shirabu, Taichi Kawanishi, Hayato Yamagata, and finally their coach Tanji Washijo. I just want to take a minute to point out how truly thick his eyebrows are. Those things are majestic. We also learned that the finals will be a best of 5 instead of a best of 3 like the players are used to. Things get started, and in the first play, Ushijima scores with a spike that went straight to Nishinoya getting on the board. Episode 2. Things aren't looking so hot with Karasuno getting smacked around and falling behind by 5 points. Luckily, Ryonosuke turns things around, scoring the first point for Karasuno. They are really struggling against Ushijima because not only is he a powerhouse, but he's left-handed, which they're just not used to, I guess. After falling into a massive deficit, Nishinoya finally starts to get the hang of his receives. Ushijima seems more competitive than usual from what Hinata said and goes on to score the final point in the first set, making it 1-0 in favor of Shiratorizawa. In the second set, we see that Ushijima isn't the only threat they need to worry about as Tendo steps in and shuts down Hinata's freak quick. Episode 3. Tendo analyzes the players and predicts the plays ahead of time, which is how he keeps blocking Hinata. This isn't a perfect strat or an unbeatable strat though, because it's still just an educated guess. On the other side of the net, Tsukishima is able to make some plays, but he can't find a way to stop Ushijima. Both teams get tied at 20, so Ukai sends in Yamaguchi as the pinch server, which Ushijima shuts down immediately. In the last scene, Karasuno finally demonstrate what they had been theorizing for the match as Nishinoya blocks Ushijima's spike with the help of Tsukishima's timing on the block. Episode 4. The game goes on until the teams get tied at 24 while continuing to fight for momentum. The quick attacks are as devastating as ever, and Nishinoya is consistently receiving Ushijima's spikes. We see that the tipping point, however, comes from Tsukishima as for the first time he blocks Ushijima and scores the last point, winning the second set, making the score 1-1. Episode 5. We don't watch the third set in too much detail, but Shiratorizawa end up winning 25-20. As we get into the fourth set, it's clear that both teams are getting used to each other's rhythms. Ushijima isn't scoring as much while Karasuno's synchronized attack gets blocked for the first time. Hinata is able to make his first block after using a running start to gain a little bit more height in his jump. This style has some obvious drawbacks as he runs into the net the next time that he tries it, and not to mention the effect that it's gonna have on his stamina. Episode 6. The score gets tied at 21 in the fourth set, so Yamaguchi is brought in partly for his serve and also so that Hinata can get some rest. Yamaguchi targets Ushijima's side to prevent him from getting the chance to spike, and this sets up Tsukishima to score. The second serve doesn't go as well, and again Ushijima steps in to put an end to any more possible serves from Yamaguchi. Again we come into another deuce when the scores get tied at 24. Nishinoya starts to pop off again, stopping Ushijima's serve and keeping them in the game. Hinata is the one to finish the set out, making the score 29-27 in favor of Karasuno, bringing them into the fifth and final set. Episode 7. It's obvious that the players aren't used to best of 5s and the length is starting to wear on their stamina. Kageyama is exhausted, so Sugawara is put in as the starter for the last set. The last set in a best of 5 is only to 15 points, so both sides need to be on top of their game. Sugawara proves why he is known for his consistency, but also shows he can learn new tricks as he scores off of a spike thanks to his practice. Ushijima isn't rolling over though, and continues to be the core of the team, with his ability to score gaining them the lead. Tsukishima is playing consistently well and getting blocks off until he ends up getting injured, putting a huge hole in their defense. Episode 8. It's 8-5 in favor of Shiratorizawa, and Tsukishima is out getting his injury treated, so it's up to the others to hold it together until he gets back. Kageyama is finally put back in, and immediately the duo close the gap, bringing the score to 9-8. This doesn't last long, as Shiratorizawa's pinch server, along with some playmakers, bring the score deficit back up to 12-9. Hinata makes a huge play, blocking Ushijima's spike, and scores off of it. This marks the comeback for Karasuno as they even the score out at 14, taking them into yet another deuce. They have a hard-fought rally, but Shiratorizawa comes out on top, bringing them to match point. Everyone's mood seems to drop drastically after that, but just for a moment because Tsukishima finally gets back from dealing with his cut. Episode 9. Karasuno even out the score and get Tsukishima back into play. With him back, the defense is in full swing, and Ushijima botches one of his spikes, allowing a counterattack to score, bringing Karasuno to match point at 16-15. It doesn't end there though, as both teams are in it for the long haul and keep scoring back and forth, bringing the score to 19-19. Nishinoya comes through big and puts them back on game point after a superhuman save while covering for Daichi. Episode 10. Everyone has their time to shine in the epic last rally, where they are finally able to overcome Shiratorizawa's genius ace. Surprise, surprise, Hinata is the one to score the winning point after adjusting his timing during a synchronized attack. In the last scene, we learn from Takeda that Kageyama was given an offer to attend the National Youth Training Camp. We don't know if he accepts or what happens with that, but keep that in mind going into the next season. Speaking of new seasons, I'll be doing the next season, and that'll be in the bottom left whenever I'm finished with it, or you can check out all the Haikyuu recaps in this playlist here. You can also find the links in the description below, and the only thing I hate more than intros is outros.